The Empire of Japan in 1923 had just emerged as victor from the Great War, going from isolation to a great power in just 55 years. Just before noon on the 1st of September, a massive earthquake of an estimated 8.3 magnitude struck the Japanese capital of Tokyo. Shortly after, a 13-meter tsunami would strike the area, destroying many structures already damaged by the earthquake. Tragically, the horror had only just begun for the people of Japan. Shortly after the tsunami, fires broke out across the city. These fires led to around 40% of the buildings in Greater Tokyo being destroyed, with some areas such as Yokohama losing 90% of her buildings. The fires, tsunami, and earthquake would end up leaving around 140,000 missing or dead. Of particular note would be the so-called dragon twist, a massive fire twister produced by the intense winds of the fire, being the largest of its kind ever recorded. The tornado alone would go on to kill nearly 40,000 people. A notable example of heroism would come from Ensign Thomas J. Ryan of the United States Navy, who, during the fires, would rush into the ablaze Yokohama Grand Hotel, and, with complete disregard for his own survival, Ensign Ryan would rescue a crippled woman from the hotel. For this action, Ensign Ryan would be awarded the Medal of Honor. Relief efforts began shortly after the disaster, with international efforts led by the United States and many other countries beginning in the days after the disaster, with the Red Cross raising $12 million and the U.S. Navy alone raising more than $2 million for the survivors. Distrust existed, however, between the Americans and Japanese, with an American report reading, 3 U.S. Navy destroyers entered Port Akone, Hayama, and Kamakura around Tokyo Bay to rescue U.S. citizens. The commanding officer of the battleship Yamashiro committed a misstep by letting 3 destroyers in due to the Japanese government not wanting to give access to the fortified zones of Shibata and Shinagawa, allowing the U.S. Navy to spot Japanese military production factories and fortified structures. The Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs laid down a schedule that entailed direct travel to a Yokohama rescue center and placed USAT Meigs, USS Blackhawk, USAT Merit, and USS Pecos on supply duty, traveling different routes throughout the day. The Japanese government continued their guidelines and remained rather strict by not wanting personnel, transport vehicles, or a field hospital in Yokohama to be constructed. Officials also wanted full inspections conducted before foreign crews could handle offloads. Perhaps the most important military effect of the earthquake was the crippling of the battlecruiser Amagi, which was in the process of being converted into an aircraft carrier, as per the Washington Naval Treaty. Due to her damage in the earthquake, the Japanese government chose to convert the slower battleship Kaga into an aircraft carrier instead, which would limit the speed of future Japanese operations going into the Second World War. The disaster would have severe effects on Japan's minorities in the wake of the destruction. Japanese militants took the opportunity to slaughter Korean and Japanese citizens, as well as protesters and labor workers. This was perhaps a terrifying prelude to the rise of fascist militarization that would grip Japan in the following decades.